increase the level of turbo, the quickness, the speed of it. This is the slowest, and as I move this dial clockwise, it gets faster, and that's the maximum turbo. You see, it's almost solid, but it's actually very fast. So, and that's on the one player. See, I also have this on player 1 here. I could probably put this on player 2, nothing will happen. Actually, it is. Nothing's happening here, though. Let me set it back to 1 player. And now I'm going to hold B. Let me take it off. Is it on rapid fire? No, it's not on rapid fire, so let's see where B corresponds. To 4, and it's actually moving rapidly. I'm not sure why. Well, that's the slow. I'm sorry, that's the slow motion. I had slow motion on. I'm sorry. Let me start over again here. I'm sorry for that. I'll hold B. I had slow motion on. That's why the 4 was moving around. So 4. Actually, I'm depressing B. Now I'm holding B. You see, B corresponds to 6. Now I'll push and hold A, and take turbo off. Now I'm releasing and holding A, and it corresponds to button 2. Now I'll push and hold start. I'll depress it and press it a few times and depress it. It corresponds to 4. I'm going to do the same with select. Again, select corresponds with button 3. Now I'm going to put slow motion on and just let go. You'll see the number 4 rapidly turning on and off, turning from red to black. That's due to my having depressed the slow motion button. And you don't have to hold slow motion down, you simply put it on or off. It's a switch. Very nice, not a button, a switch. It stays, you push it once, it stays depressed. Now I'm going to go over here to the turbo functionality, and I'll put B on turbo. See it lighting up like turbo, and you see the 6 moving fast, indicating turbo fire is on a rapid fire because it's blinking. It's blinking between the dark color and the red. Now I'll turn A on. And unlike the quick shot control, obviously the A and B's have separate rapid fires. If you're going to use this on an action game or platforming game, you're probably not going to want the A button, the jump button, usually on most of these games, to be on rapid fire. And that there's not really much more to show here. I could try. Let me try see if player 2 works with the other wire. I'm just curious. So I'm going to switch these wires. I'm going to put the camera down. The white stripped wire and plug, the male end with the white stripe on the wire, corresponds with the player 1. The one lacking it, I suppose, corresponds by process of elimination to controller 2. So I'm going to go here, and you see I selected already player 2, and let me see if it works. And you see it does work. Up, down, left, right, and I'm moving up, up, down, left, right. I'm not going to go through each button sexually here. I'll just read you B, A, and here's start and select. Here's B and A again. So yes, this actually does work. You can set this to player 2, and it will work. You just have to match up the right wire. So you could use either of these ends, really. Any of these male ends, either want the white stripe or without. And you just have to set the NES Advantage accordingly based on that wire. So in other words, if I had this connected right now with that wire without, but lacking the white stripe, I couldn't use the player 1. I'm right now hitting up, pushing up on the stick, and it's not doing anything. And that's because I have player 1 on. I have to switch to player 2 due to the wire that I have connected here to my extension cord, to my end. So next I'm going to show you the NES Zapper, the original NES Zapper. I'm going to connect it right now, and then I'll show you what that does. And this is not very exciting, but I'll show it to you as a demonstration, as a test. And here you see it's connected. Here's the NES Zapper. You hear it, and I'm going to show it to you. So here you see nothing is red here. Like before, you know, a lot of the NES, when I hooked an NES controller and a lot of these buttons here were red, even though there were no buttons. They didn't correspond to anything. I'm going to push the trigger rapidly here. You see nothing happening with the buttons, nothing happening with the axis. Nothing is happening at all. I'll aim it at the screen and shoot. I'll move it around. Let me zoom out too. Nothing at all is changing on this menu, on this window. That's because the zapper's, well, it's not because the zapper, it shows that the zapper is not functional with this device. With this driver, with this wiring, I don't know. Remember, the NES does have 7 different holes here, 4 and 3, and yet the SNES key, SNES key, D-pad Pro, and PPG all assume that same 5-wire schematic when wiring this, and that may not allow something like this to even work. Of course, even if the buttons say work with the trigger, the problem is how you would get a light gun that only works with CRT displays and not LCD, which is my computer monitor is LCD. This would not work anyhow. Apparently, the way this functions, this is not compatible with an LCD monitor. Now there may be a way to get this device to work with emulators somehow. I don't know how. It may involve a great deal of hacking. I'd imagine it would. Like putting another thing that works. Because there are light guns that do work on computers and with emulation. Apparently I've never owned one. I'd love to. It'd be very cool. But this device does not work. And although I love this device, I mean, it's lightweight. The one thing I don't like is there's no scope on it. Apparently you could buy a nice crosshairs for it and actually clip it on here. That's the only thing I don't like. It's actually that's a big drawback, honestly. This is really kind of cheesy. You'd have to look through this to aim. It's really a pain. I'd rather have a nice scope on it. Besides that, I really like this gun because it's so light. Also, the trigger, maybe I mean, it's very responsive though. It's very easy to hit. The Super Scope 6, or the Super Scope, the later Super Scope, and the Genesis gun, the Menacer was terrible. I mean, that was a really bad thing with the Super Scope, really ugly looking too. And the Super Scope was just too bulky. They had batteries and they were heavy and they wore out. I mean, my shoulder would wear out so much from playing those games. This was a light, nice gun. The Super, Nintendo and really really degraded themselves with the Super Scope. They should have kept the tradition of the NES Zapper. And Sega was terrible with the Menacer. I mean, it was just a bad knockoff of the Super Scope. So I'm going to put my camcorder down, and I'm going to reconnect the original iconic NES controller, and I'm going to show it to you on some games through an emulator. I'm probably going to get rid of my Zapper as well. I'll probably sell it because I have no use for it. I don't play the original NES. I don't want to again. I like playing emulators. I just like using the original controllers. It's the way I, as a human, interact with the game, so I find that very important. However, I really don't use NES controllers too often. In fact, I rarely do. But I like the ability to if I want to. I usually just use Sega Saturn Pad for everything. Maybe I'll use them. I did use this recently, the Dogbone controller, to play Clash of Demon Head, and I beat it with it, and it worked great. So let me go now to... maybe I'll show a game with the NES Advantage too, because I just love that controller. I think it's a very well made controller. A lot of people do like it. Actually, I'll leave that window up. I'm going to go to the emulator now. Here I have FCEU, one of the best NES emulators, maybe the best at the moment, I don't know. And I'll load a game. I don't have many games on the NES right now in my ROM directory, although I do have large collections of ROMs elsewhere on disk. I just put a few in here. So let's see about what's a really good game here. Where's that Little Samson? Little Samson's a great NES game. If you haven't played it, play it. It's an obscure game, and it's one of the best on NES. one of the definitely best unknown or little known games. It was released in Japan as named Lickle, and this game is extremely good. It's actually working here without me even setting it up, or without me configuring the controller. Maybe I've already configured it last time. Maybe I'll show a video after this of how I can configure this thing. But maybe not, I don't know. I probably won't. It's hard to play, of course, a game with one hand. I have the camera in my other hand. I don't have a tripod. But it's totally responsive. As you can see, you can use this controller to play this game. So you get that authentic feel. In fact, you get a better than authentic feel because right now I have a graphics filter on the Nintendo. I have another option that doesn't limit the sprites from glitching as much. So, you know, you get, with emulators, you actually get a better than game experience when you're going to hook an NES controller up to your monitor. Or even better, if you're like me and you don't really like the NES controller compared to the, say, the Saturn controller, or even the Super Nintendo controller, you could simply use one of those. Although actually, the dog bone controller is great, and this controller is really cool too. So let me connect this controller next to the NES Advantage and show you that with Lickle. Maybe for fun, I'll show it to you on Street Fighter 2 also. Remember, with emulation, you can use any controller on any system. If you can get it working on the PC, you can use it for anything that allows it to be used, which is a lot. A lot of different things you can use. You could use these on modern PC games if you wanted to as well. I don't know what modern PC game would be good with an NES controller. I think you'll probably need more buttons and a lot more stuff, but you can still use it. So now I have the NES Advantage, and you can see here, of course it's going to be a little hard to hold it, but I'm using the NES Advantage. I'm just going to pan back and forth a few times. I have it on turbo. You can see that the jump button is not good with turbo. Rapid fire. Now I have the it's hard to do this without with one hand, but oh, yeah, I forgot he climbs on the ceilings as well. This is a very hard part with one hand also. Well, I think I'm done showing with you this. It's just too hard to play with one hand, but I'll turn turbo on as well. I'll show you how fast that moves. When rapid fire is not on, he doesn't shoot, I have to tap it. When I put rapid fire on, very easy to do that. So you have to really hit it fast to do that. Now I'll put slow motion on. Slow motion's not so good at this game because you actually have a menu here. You can actually switch between characters when you push start. So this game would not be good with start. Another game that would be bad with hitting start would be another game with a menu screen like Zelda 2. It would be horrible for slow motion. So slow motion really doesn't work too well. It's also amusing that slow motion is not slowing the music down. Whereas in most Nintendo games it would. It would actually slow the music down. That's probably because pause in this game when you push start in this game, the music probably doesn't stop. That's most likely the reason why. Let's see. Yeah, but if I push start in this game and pause it, the music doesn't stop. So that's why you don't hear any stop in the music in this game, because pausing the game does not stop the music. That's the only reason. But you can see that the NES Advantage works great. Maybe I'll try the NES Advantage now on the ZSNES emulator with Street Fighter 2, which will be fun because you get to see a game, this NES controller being used on a game that is not for NES, which of course is one of the great things about emulation. Now this device, by the way, too, that I made, this little hack of the extension cord, should enable you to actually connect, if you made one, an NES controller on an actual SNES. I don't know if the button configuration and correspondence would be correct at all. Like, for instance, the A and B button on the Nintendo may correspond to the L and R button on the Super Nintendo controller, making it very awkward to play. But you should be able to use it and actually do something with it. like I said, just the buttons may be all over the controller, but it should be able to work. I'm not sure if it does. I've never tried it, and I don't really care to try it, so I'm not going to. I don't have a Super Nintendo anyway here to show you it. And if I did, maybe I'd make a video of it. I don't know. I'm more concerned about making this video right now. This is a priority for me. I think that showing all of you something like this is important. Oh, and I have a problem with my computer here. I'm probably going to have to shut my computer down. Yeah, let me restart my computer. I sometimes have that problem. Really, I've been having a problem with the RAM. I don't know if it's with Mozilla Firefox or what it is. I'm probably going to edit this part out of the video. And before I put it up on YouTube, if I don't, I apologize. Here's my menu screen here on the boot. I'll just wait. I'm going to put my camera down because I'm not interested to hold it for the whole time. My computer doesn't seem to be liking me. Oh, there it goes. I don't know exactly what's wrong with my computer. Maybe it needs to be virus scanned a little more. Honestly, not sure, but I've been having some real problems with it. Maybe I should reinstall the operating system just so I can flush it out. I don't know. Alright, I'm back on my PC. Put my camera in my hand and I will go to the Super Nintendo emulator again and show it to you with the NES Advantage playing Street Fighter 2 this time. With the NES Advantage. Hold on just a moment while this thing loads. I'll probably cut this out of the video here because it's just too long. Okay, so I'm back on the PC. Let me run ZSNES. Here is ZSNES. Go to Config, Input 1. I'm just gonna, oh, set keys, right? I could do this. It says set, enter up. Up, and it's not reading right now. Let's see why. Yeah, I'm having some problems here with this. Let me shut the emulator and try again. Something's really messed up. I'll probably cut all this out of my video. If I don't, well, I should have, because it's really boring and a waste of my viewers' time. Okay, the controller works. And let's try it again. Go to config. I'm going to go to all these inputs and clear them. They're all cleared, I think. Yeah, they look like they're all cleared, so I don't have any junk configured here. I'll set none, and now I'll set keyboard joystick, and click set keys. Press the up button. It's not reading for some reason. Even though it is lighting up. And I can't say I know why. I'm going to put this down and try doing some things myself on here. I'm actually going to shut the oh, actually I'll leave it on. I'll just edit this out. Alright. Let me try it again.